You ever have someone in your life that you absolutely should not care for? Like, you should hate them, for lack of a better term. But the more you're around them, the more that starts to change. Little by little, the walls start coming down. And you begin to realize that you've got more in common with this person than you initially thought. Well, let me take that a step further. What if that person carried the very thing that was responsible for killing your whole family? Think you could still do it? Hey, and welcome to, or welcome back to, the Average Joe Nerdcast. I'm Nate, your resident Average Joe, professional overthinker, and a guy who somehow went from this anime looks stupid to why am I this emotional over a ninja school teacher? And this is Checkpoint Thursdays. This is where we take Monday's episode, loosen things up a little bit, and zoom in on one piece that deserves just a little more time. And this week, we're talking all about Iruka Sensei. Because let's get this out of the way real quick. Iruka Sensei did not start off as Naruto's biggest fan. Like, at all. I think, especially if you haven't watched Naruto in a long time or you watched it when you were younger, we kind of rewrite the relationship that Iruka Sensei had with Naruto in our heads. Like, we remember Iruka Sensei as the guy, the good teacher, the one who always had Naruto's back, the ramen spot OG. But that's not how this all started, like, not even a little bit. Iruka didn't look at Naruto and go, yeah, this kid's special. This kid just needs a chance. Absolutely not. At first, he kept his distance. He was colder with him than the other kids. Not like abusive or anything like that, but definitely not warm, not welcoming. And when you actually stop and think about it, it makes perfect sense. Because we've got to remember something that's really easy to gloss over. Iruka didn't just have a sad backstory. The Nine-Tails Fox demon killed his parents. Like, full stop. That's not abstract. That's not some vague anime tragedy. That's the worst day of this man's life. The very thing that shaped him. The thing that he had to grow up around and carry with him. And now, every single day he's standing in a classroom trying to teach, trying to be a functioning adult, and sitting right there in front of him is Naruto. The kid who literally carries that exact thing that killed his parents inside of him. Like, dude, that's not just awkward. That's not just, oh man, that is kind of uncomfortable. That's trauma. Just sitting right in front of you. Every day, staring back at you, acting out, being loud, getting into heaps upon heaps of trouble. And yeah, Naruto doesn't know at this point. He doesn't understand what he is. But Iruka does. So when Iruka keeps his distance, when he's a little harsher with him, when he doesn't quite know how to connect with him, that's not him being a bad person. That's just him being human. And honestly, that's what makes this whole thing hit so much harder later. Because if Iruka just instantly loved Naruto, if he immediately saw past everything, if he was just completely perfect from day one, this would not land the way it does. It's the hesitation that makes it so real. It's the internal conflict, that quiet tension of, I know this kid didn't do anything wrong, but also, I can't separate him from what happened to me. And that is a brutal place to be in. Because now you're not just dealing with your past, you're dealing with how your past affects how you treat someone else. And I think that's something a lot of people can seriously relate to, just not on as big of a scale. That idea of meeting someone and they remind you of something or someone or a situation, and you catch yourself instantly judging them or keeping your distance, not because of who they are, but because of what they represent to you. And then you've got to sit there and go, is that actually fair? Iruka had to sit in that. He had to live in that discomfort. He had to be around Naruto long enough to start seeing him as more than just that. And that doesn't happen overnight. That takes time. That takes effort. And most importantly, that takes choice. Iruka didn't start as Naruto's biggest supporter, but he's about to become the very first person who actually chooses him. And here's the thing that makes this entire situation even crazier, because Naruto was not making this easy on Iruka at all. Like, bro, if you're trying to convince people you're not a problem, Naruto said, what if I become the biggest problem possible? This man is out here vandalizing the Hokage monument. And not like just a little prank either. No, full graffiti, faces drawn on, defacing the Mount Rushmore of your entire village. And I love how casual he is about it too. Like, yeah, I did that, what about it? Meanwhile, Iruka's got to be standing there like, my guy, please read the room. You're already on thin ice. People already don't trust you. And you're out here doing arts and crafts on national landmarks. And then on top of that, he's failing the academy exams multiple times. So now you've got this kid who doesn't listen, causes problems, can't pass basic ninja school, and is loud and annoying about all of it. Like, if you're Iruka, you're probably sitting there like, I am trying to defend you internally right now, but you are not helping me do that. And I think that's what makes this so real too. Because Naruto isn't some perfect, misunderstood kid. He's messy, he's annoying, he's doing way too much. But when you step back and look at it, that behavior makes total sense. Because if nobody's giving you attention in a positive way, hell, you'll take it however you can get it. And Naruto chose chaos. Like, that's his whole strategy early on. If I can't be respected, I'll at least be noticed. And honestly, that's a very real human thing. Maybe not to this level. Hopefully, nobody listening is out here tagging government buildings. But if you are, you'll get no judgment from me. But that idea of doing a little extra, being just a little louder, pushing boundaries just to feel like you exist in a space, that's real. And I think Iruka sees all of that too, even if he doesn't fully understand it just yet. Because under all the chaos, under all the noise, under all the look at me energy, there's just a kid who doesn't know how else to connect with other people. And that's the part that starts to chip away at Iruka. Not all at once, not in some big dramatic moment just yet, but little by little. Because the more time you spend around someone, the harder it gets to keep seeing them as just one thing. And Naruto, for all his chaos, for all the nonsense, he keeps showing up. And eventually, that all starts to matter. And then we get the big moment. The one where everything shifts. Not just for Naruto, but for Iruka too. Because up to this point, everything we've been talking about, it's all internal, it's quiet, it's unspoken. Iruka's dealing with his feelings. Naruto's being Naruto and acting out. Nobody's really saying what needs to be said. And then Mizuki shows up and just rips the band-aid off. And the way this whole thing plays out, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, it's exactly how you don't want a kid to find out something like this. Because Naruto doesn't learn the truth in some calm, safe environment. He doesn't get sat down, he doesn't get support, he doesn't get context. No, he gets it weaponized against him. Mizuki straight up tells him, you're the Nine Tails. You're the reason everyone hates you. You're the thing that destroyed this village. And you can feel it in that moment, like everything just drops out from underneath him. Because now all of those looks, all that distance, all that weird energy from everyone his whole life, it all clicks. And that right there is dangerous. Because that's the moment where Naruto could have gone, oh, so they all were right. I am the problem. And if that thought sticks, if that takes root, that's a completely different story. And this is where Iruka has to make a choice. Not later, not after thinking about it. Not when it's very convenient. But right now. Because Mizuki's not just talking. He's coming for Naruto. And Iruka steps in. And I want to slow this part down for a second because this right here is the moment. Iruka knows exactly what Naruto is carrying. He knows exactly what it cost him. And he still moves. He puts himself between Naruto and Mizuki, takes the hit. And it's not just physical, it's not just hero moment jump in front of the attack. It's a statement. Because in that moment, Iruka is choosing how he sees Naruto. Not as the Nine Tails, not as the thing that ruined his life, but as a kid. And then he says it out loud. And that's what got me. Because he doesn't just defend Naruto physically, he defends him as a person. He tells Mizuki that Naruto is not the Nine Tails. He's Naruto Uzumaki, a loud, annoying, hard-headed kid who works his ass off, who's been alone his entire life and still keeps showing up. And man, that hits you. Because that's the first time anyone says that about Naruto. Not behind closed doors, not quietly, but out loud in front of someone trying to kill him. And you can see it on Naruto's face. That moment of, wait, what? You see me? And that's all it takes. That right there is the turning point. Not the fight, not the shadow clones, not the win, but that. Someone finally choosing him when it mattered most. And that's one of the parts that I'll always keep coming back to. Not the fight, not the jutsu, not even Mizuki getting folded. It's what Iruka said. Because in that moment, Iruka makes a choice that most people don't. He separates the person from what they carry. And that sounds simple when you say it like that, but it's really not. Not in real life, because it's so much easier and way more natural to look at someone and go, you remind me of something bad, so I'm just going to keep my distance. Or worse, I'm going to treat you like that thing. And Iruka had every reason to do exactly that. But instead, he looks at Naruto and goes, no, that's not what I see. I see a kid. And dude, that's powerful. Because just think about it. Naruto didn't change in that moment. He didn't suddenly become stronger. He didn't prove anything. He didn't do something heroic first. Iruka chose him before any of that. And that's rare. That's really, really rare because most of the time people wait. They wait for you to prove yourself. They wait for you to be useful. They wait for you to earn it. Iruka didn't do any of that. He looked at Naruto at his worst moment and said, you're worth something already. And I think that's why this hits so hard as an adult. Because when you're younger, you kind of just accept it. You're like, yeah, cool, teacher saves the kid, let's go. But now you understand what that actually means. You understand how hard it is to not let your past decide how you treat someone else. To not pass that pain forward. To not look at someone and go, you're going to carry what happened to me. And instead you say, I'm going to break that cycle right here. And that's what Iruka did. He broke the cycle before Naruto ever could. And that's why this moment matters so much, because Naruto goes on to change the entire world. We all know that. But none of that happens without this crucial moment, without one person looking at him and seeing him for exactly who he is, instead of what he contains. And after all of that, this is where the relationship really starts to take shape. And I love all of this because it's not dramatic, it's not flashy, there's no big speeches every 5 minutes, it's just consistency. Like, Iruka doesn't suddenly become this over the top perfect mentor. He doesn't turn into some legendary sensei overnight. He just shows up. And sometimes that looks like something as simple as, "Hey Naruto, you want to grab some Ichiraku ramen?" And I don't know why that hits as hard as it does, but my God, it does. Because for Naruto, that's everything. That's not just food. That's not just hanging out. That's someone choosing to spend time with you on purpose. And if you've ever felt like an outsider or like you didn't quite belong somewhere, you know exactly how big that is. When someone goes out of their way to include you, not because they have to and not because it's their job, but because they genuinely want to. And that's Iruka. Low key, Iruka is Naruto's first dad figure, like straight up. Not in some big official way, he's not adopting him, he's not raising him full time, but he's there. He checks in, he encourages him, he celebrates all the small wins, and yeah, he probably also has those moments where he's like, "Bro, please stop doing whatever it is you're about to do." But he sticks around. And that's the part that truly matters. Because it's one thing to have a big moment, right? That Mizuki moment, that's huge. But what really changes someone's life is what happens after those big moments. Do you disappear? Or do you keep showing up? And Iruka, he keeps showing up. And that consistency, that's what builds Naruto's foundation. That's what gives him the confidence to even believe something like, "I can become the next Hokage." Because now that idea isn't coming from nowhere. It's being reinforced. It's being supported. It's being seen. And I think that's something we don't talk about enough either. Because everyone loves the big speeches, the big turning points, the big dramatic moments, but it's the small stuff, man. It's the ramen, it's the check-ins, it's the, "Hey kiddo, I'm proud of you." That's the stuff that really sticks. That's the stuff that builds someone up over time, and Iruka does that for Naruto before anyone else even thinks to. Before the village even accepts him, before the big fights, before the legends. It's just one guy showing up for a kid, and that's what makes it so special. And then we get to the big moment, the one that ties all of this together. After everything with pain, after the destruction, after the loss, after Naruto does what nobody else could do, he comes back to the village. And Konoha, the same place that ignored him, feared him, kept him at a distance his entire childhood, is waiting for him with respect, with gratitude, with people actually seeing him. And that alone right there is powerful, right? Like, that's the moment Naruto's been chasing his entire life. But here's the part that really got me. Out of everybody there, out of the entire village, the camera goes straight to Iruka. Because he's not reacting like everyone else. Everyone else is shocked, relieved, grateful. But Iruka? He's just proud. Like, there's no hesitation, no surprise, no, "Wow, I didn't expect this." It's just, yeah, that's him. And man, that hits you so different. Because Iruka isn't seeing Naruto for the first time in that moment like everyone else is. He saw Naruto a long time ago, back when no one else did, back when it wasn't the popular thing to do, back when it didn't benefit him. He saw the same kid in that forest, getting lied to, getting hunted, trying to understand why the world treated him the way it did. And he chose him then. So now, when the entire village finally catches up, Iruka's not surprised. He's just witnessing the result. And I love that. because it shows you something really important. Naruto didn't suddenly become worthy in that moment. The village just finally recognized what Iruka already knew. And that right there is the payoff. Not just for Naruto, but for Iruka too. Because imagine being in his position. You took a chance on this kid. You chose to see something in him when no one else would. You stood in front of him when it mattered most. And now you're watching him come back, having saved literally everyone, having become exactly what you always believed he could. That's gotta feel unreal. That's gotta feel like, yeah, that choice I made back then, that 100% mattered. And here's the part that I think makes this moment even more powerful. Iruka doesn't run to Naruto. He doesn't push through the crowd. He doesn't try to insert himself into the moment at all. He just stands there, watching, smiling. Not surprised, not shocked, just proud. And I love that because it tells you everything you need to know without saying anything. Iruka doesn't need to be front and center. He doesn't need recognition. He doesn't need Naruto to run up and thank him in that moment because he already knows. He already knows what Naruto is. He already knows what he's capable of. He already knows who he's becoming. He saw it all the way back then. So this isn't some big revelation for Iruka. This is just confirmation. This is him standing there going, I always knew. And there's something really beautiful about that. Because this moment isn't about Iruka anymore. It's all about Naruto finally getting what he's been chasing his entire life. And Iruka, he's content to just stand there and watch it happen. And that might be the most dad thing in this entire show, not stepping in, not making it about himself. Just being there, quietly proud, as the kid that you believed in finally gets his moment. And I think that's what sticks with me the most about all of this. Iruka Sensei didn't change the world. He didn't win the war. He never became Hokage. But he did change one kid's life. And that kid went on to change everything. And I don't know, man. I think that matters more than we give it credit for. Because not everybody's meant to be the hero of the story. But you might be the reason one exists. And that's Iruka. Just a teacher who made a choice and stuck with it. If this one hit for you, even just a little bit, come talk to me about it over in the lobby. That's our private Facebook group where we keep these conversations going. We share clips, memes, all the good stuff. And I've got a feeling this one's going to bring out some stories. As always, huge shout out to my player 2. And to everyone behind the scenes who keeps this little ship of ours sailing into the all blue. And especially, shout out to each and every one of you who's listening right now. I truly mean that. And hey, if you've ever had someone like Iruka Sensei in your life, hold on to that. And if you haven't, be that person for someone else. As always, stay gold, nerd bold, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Game over.